Hi, so I'm doing this video to explain what I did for my watering system. I've built a balcony garden for my apartment, and since I have a busy schedule and I don't really have time to water the plants at the time that needs to be watered. So I come with a system to water them by itself. So I'll do an overview of the system. So what I've got is I used some garden hose that had the water through. So what I did is I cut them to length and then just put on some fittings to work on it. So I have this. This is you controlled with a solenoid valve, a 12-volt valve. Everything is connected through some water pipe, some PEX pipes, all the way to the tank that is in this box, hidden in it. And then on every, there's six boxes, so each one of them I have an individual valve for them, and each one of them also have a sensor. So I used a soil moisture sensor. So it's that type of sensors that reads the resistance between the two probes. So with the resistance, if there's less resistance, it knows there's more moisture in the soil, since there's more water in it. So each one of them have a sensor. So here's inside the box I've made for the tank. So what I used is a regular container, plastic container. I bought it at IKEA. The reason it's green like that is first I reuse when I have an aquarium, and I reuse the wastewater when the water changes. What I do is drain the water from the aquarium and just put it in my tank. And also I use some fertilizer, it's like a blue color, so in the end it just turns out to be some green color. So in there I have also a switch. It's a float switch. So whenever the water level goes below the level of the switch, it just turns off the signal and just keeps the pump from running so it doesn't run dry. Even though if that type of pump is supposed to be able to run dry, I just don't want it to run dry for no reason. So inside the box I also have the pump itself. It's a 12-volt pump. It's normally used for some RV vehicles. So the way it works, it's got some sort of a pressure valve inside of it. So what it does, it doesn't press the switch. What it does is when it reaches a certain pressure value, it just shuts itself off. So let's say I just put some 12-volt on it, it wouldn't run if the valves at the other hand are not open. So it just keeps the pressure at the needed pressure it needs to. So also is my control box. I just reuse an old system at my job. We had the box for that. So that's there, and everything is plugged in the wall. I've got two transformers. One is 12-volt and the other one is 5-volt for the Arduino itself. Alright, so everything there is controlled within Arduino. Just let me open up the box. So inside that box, what I've got the Arduino at the back. On top of it I have a screw shield, just to make it easier to connect everything to it. and I have a relay board. I have eight relays. One is for the power to the sensors, so the sensors don't have power all the time, so they should last longer that way. And the second one is for the pump, to activate the pump, and the six remaining ones are for each individual valve. So it's quite a simple layout. I've got the inputs for the power, I've got a fuse there, and just some terminals to plug everything up from there. So back to the containers themselves. I built everything. I just used some wood and then tinted the wood just to make it more pretty. And so each one of them are there are six of them. They're just about the same. I have two of them. I have a different layout for the hoses, just because I figured out since there's less per containers, I just figured out it would be easier to route them that way. But it's about the same, and the way I water it, the way it's programmed, I'm gonna show the program later on. And the way it is programmed, what I do is it checks. I have set up for every 5 minutes. It turns on the sensors, and then what it does, it just reads the moisture value for every one of each individual container. And what it does, I have like a running average of them all. So what I do is, with an array inside of the program, I increment. I do a running average. So what, just to smoothen out the values, because one of the problems I got from testings is sometimes the value would be higher from few, let's say 1 or 2%. So from like few seconds apart or few minutes apart. So what I do is, since I have five, you do the running average of five different values of the different readings. In the end, the values are more realistic to what they are, and since it doesn't change that much from few minutes, I'm just not worried about the difference in versus the calculated value from the real value. And what I do when it reaches a threshold value, if it goes below, I think I did 28% of soil moisture, and what it does, it just starts the pump for 10 seconds. At first, I was supposed to calculate from how many seconds it should be watering to come up to a minimum and a maximum value. But what I ended up having a problem is the soil wouldn't take all the water at once. So I would end up having some water on the balcony and on the other balcony below me. So the neighbor was complaining from water on his balcony. So what I ended up to do is just check more often and just water for 10 seconds. So in the end, it seems to be, as you can see, my stuff grows. I have some different vegetables here, and they all grow quite well. So it seems to be working. So all I have to do is fill up the tank once a week or twice. It depends of the temperature, and everything grows by itself. So it's quite nice.
Okay, so now about the program itself. Um, it's quite a simple program. I'm not really an expert about Arduino stuff, so I just did the best I could. So what I did is on the first I listed all my analog inputs, so all the sensors to their pins. I have the float switch pin, and then all the outputs, so the 6 valves, the pump, and the relay for the sensor power. Then I have some variables, so I didn't float the moisture, since I don't necessarily have exact moisture levels, and I want to be more precise to just fix the 36, 37, so then I can have 36.07, let's say. It's gonna read it. All right, so I have the 6 moisture there. Also I have this is for the timer. So what I did, instead of first I was doing a delay, then I switched to a timer with some just the millis with the time since the Arduino started up. In that way it can still count time and do stuff at the same time. So it just lets me do more at the same time than just wait for a delay, and just the Arduino doesn't do anything else until the delay is done. So I have the counter for the interval to check the level, and then also the interval to water the the containers. So this is just the declarations of the variables. Also I have the constant, so I have my minimum moisture set to 36.01. Just I don't know exactly what I did, just to make sure the when at first it was for the when I did some I divided the for the time, calculated time. I want to make sure it stayed on float, and just make sure it doesn't take it as an integer. So I just did 0.01. Then I also have the interval check, interval to water, set to 5 minutes, and 30 minutes interval to water itself. So it will check every 5 minutes and just add the modify the running average with the value it checked. Then this is just the time for it to water, so I set it to 10 seconds. I figured out that was the about the maximum that the water won't drain out of the containers. So here is my constant to for the running average. I set up to five values that it's running. I could have done more, but I felt that 5 would be just a good middle point from just reactivity to have a stable reading, but also not to take too much time before it changes the output reading. So then just for the array, different arrays, every single array, I have the index of the arrays, and also I have the running total to calculate the average. Alright, so here's the setup loop. I have a serial begin print to do some debug. I had some issues at first, so I did some I used the serial output with my computer to be able to see what's going on. So every pin is set up there. Here what I do is I reset the array. What I do is just fill zeros everywhere, just to make sure, because usually if you don't force some numbers. It could be anything really. So in that way, I'm just sure everything there is 0. So when I add and retract the numbers, I know it started as 0. All right. So here's the it takes the current running time and put it in the variable. So in main loop, what it does, it checks is it time to is the time the is it time to check. So if the difference between the last time it checked and the running time is bigger than the set interval, it will then reset the current reading of the time to reset the timer, and then I have it serial print the index, just make sure it was only for debug purpose. So all I do is here is remove the current value of what is in the array. So I can just remove from the total, I remove that value, then I switch on the sensor. I just allow a 2-second delay to make sure the just the power on is really on, and make sure the sensor don't have any delay on them. Maybe 2 seconds is more than enough, but just I felt that it wouldn't do any difference, so I just put 2 seconds. And then what I do is in every single, I have from 1 to 6, is read and store the value to the array. So I just, when I did some testings, I figured out because the sensor itself doesn't really show an exact percentage. It just show a value on the analog input. So what I did is I did some testing with some known weight of a moisture level on different samples, and I took those samples, I checked their moisture reading, and then after the moisture reading, what I did is I put the samples in the oven, let it dry for almost a day, just at really low temperature, just to make sure it would dry and not like burn. And then what I did is when I knew it was completely dry, I weigh again the samples, and so I knew how much water was gone in it. So by then I did some testings with Excel and just did a graph and just did in a calculated formula for the reading I wanted to show for the input value. So here's the formula itself, and then what I do is just put the relay off. I then add the value that was read right now to the total. Just print some stuff here, not really important. On the index, I just increment it to 1, so every just for the array, so it goes to the next value in the array. And what I do is here, if the read index is bigger than the or equal to the actual number of readings I want, it just skips back to the first index of the array, and then I just calculate the running average of the array of each arrays. I do some serial print for the values. Then this is for everything. There was for the checking the moisture of the soil, and then here is similar to the other one, is for the interval to water. So well, I have an if constraint here, and if so if it's time to water, what it will do is, if the moisture is below the minimum moisture, and also if the float switch is high, so if there's enough water in the container, it will turn on the pump. Then it will open up the valve and just do a delay of whatever time it was set up. I know I said I didn't use delay, but since it was only 10 seconds and the running time still works, so it doesn't, while it is watering, I don't mind if it doesn't do anything else, so it's fine to me. So I wait the delay and just shut the valve off. Just I don't shut the relay back off for the pump, since it might do on the other ones. So then I do a delay just to make sure there's no problem, and every single one of them I just do it again and again. If one of them need to be turned on, it will turn on again, and at the end I will do I will turn off the pump and just do a small delay also. So this is about the code itself. It's quite simple. It used to be a bit more complicated, but I tried to make it just as easy I could do it. I might do some different some changes later on, but for now I think that it just works fine. So at the end, if it's not broken, why do I try to change it? So this is pretty much it for my system. I hope you liked the video. It might not be perfect. I tried my best to do these kind of videos. I'm not really I don't do these quite often, and as you might have realized by now, English isn't really my first language. I normally speak French, so I apologize if I'm not perfectly speaking English. Just I hope you understood what I wanted to say. So in the end, just this is pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any question, just comment below, and I responded. If there's some really known, just recurrent questions, I'll try to maybe do a follow-up video. So thank you.